and welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Playbook podcast. And in the second episode in our weekly World Cup weekly review series. And as you can see, all the first round, the first matches from the group stage have gotten over. We've seen all 48 teams in action, and it has been like a very exhilarating experience. Just seeing new countries in action and also like seeing the emotion behind it. So yeah, before we start, I just want to get to know your thoughts on how it is, how it's been, Sai, and welcome also.
No, so far I think it's the World Cup has lived up to its expectations. We've seen the upsets. We've seen Turkey being knocked out already. I think one of us had them down as dark horses. I think it was you or
You,
me. Me.
both of us, I think,
Uh,
both of us were high
anyway,
on them, but you
yeah.
got them in that draft. Yeah,
Shit. Okay, that's a point gone. But so Turkey getting knocked out, and then obviously the whole Portugal. I won't say scandal, but the whole Portugal thing that's going on with the players and then the fans getting involved and then the families also getting involved.
let's clarify. Okay, the whole problem stems from a certain
Direct,
player's fanboys. Okay, that's
yes,
all the whole thing
true.
has gone about. I wouldn't say it's not a scandal like until those guys enter the picture. So like I think that is the key thing to understand here. So
Yeah, true. So the World Cup is exactly where it's supposed to be right now. And even though I still haven't been able to watch a game live, at least a full game live. I've been catching up on all the highlights and some games I might like watch here and there. It's on. It's well and truly on. And the fact that still, I mean, like up until now, I still haven't felt the fatigue of having watched so many games and not even like one fourth of the World Cup has gone by. I still haven't like felt that fatigue, and I'm actually quite interested and excited to watch the rest of the games.
yeah, so like my consumption has generally been like, to grab one of the earlier kickoffs, like, relatively earlier kickoffs, like maybe the 9:30 or 10:30 kickoff in full. And probably if, the second game is starting at around 12:30, 1:30, maybe catch a little bit of that as well. And of course, I'm consuming the highlights as well. But one thing, the the whole experience on Z5, I feel can be better, like definitely with the amount of money they're taking and the whole there can be a lot of stuff said about what Z5 tried to pull. It was one of the most daylight robberies until people realized, and then they had to walk back on their words. But yeah, uh, but also like I've loved the World Cup, of course, because of how the football has been like mind blowing. We've seen some really good performances, like a lot of collective performances as well. And yeah, but I think the downside has been the quote unquote hydration breaks, which has been put in for the good of the players, even when they're playing in a domed stadium. So, you know, FIFA, we stand with you, man. Like we have to clap.
I can't imagine. There's already in global football there are talks of teams that slow down games. But now even at the country stage, there are teams that are slowing down games. I can't imagine having enforced legal breaks that kill the momentum of games like this. I don't know, man. I'd be
Yeah.
so frustrated if I was a player.
Yeah, see, like I think the games for the most part, like I did see a statistic wherein, they did show that, that the ball has been in play for like 60 minutes, which is more than what was there in Qatar World Cup. But I think the rules, like except the hydration break, keeping that aside, I think the rules which they've instituted in terms of the substitutes have to go off within 10 seconds. That's a good rule. I think taking the throw in within the designated time, like I think those rules have been superb, and I think the referees for the most part have stood by it. And I actually like the semi-automated offside which has been on display over here. It's like proper, like it's exact. There was one fuck up in one game, but I think FIFA did clarify it. I mean, to be fair, it was the decision was correct, but they didn't show it in the moment. But yeah, that was a little bit of a hairy moment there. But otherwise, it has been good. But yeah, like so, I think I am in the whole Turkey thing. I think we should come up with a whole thing, in future tournaments. Like dark horses are like for legit teams who actually you believe in going to the next level, we should term teams as dark turkeys. Basically, teams who you you have a feeling, who will always find a way to disappoint you. So I think there should be a category for dark turkeys like that.
Yeah, I think from next on we have to have a team like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like even for the Women's World Cup next year, we have to have the dark turkeys category alongside the dark horses category, so to speak. But yeah, like it has been really good. So which has been your so like to go on to the the nitty gritty of our episode, what has been your favorite game to watch this particular, up until today?
Uh, I mean, obviously, so many games to pick. From a, I would say neutral, but from a football fan standpoint, I think the Spain Cabo Verde game was a really good one. I think even watching the highlights, I was like, God damn, how did they pull this off? Wazina, there was I actually saw a sign today. I was out today here in Bombay. I saw a sign that Amul made. I forget what exactly it was written, but it was actually this thing for Bosnia. Uh, I wish I had taken a picture of it. But that game was insane because we all expected, especially because this came right after the Germany Curacao game, and we thought that Spain would also go the same route, especially given how Spain is almost on everybody's list to make it to the final. I think everybody was shocked, but also rightly so because Cabo Verde played a very, very, very good game, and their goalkeeper was outstanding.
Yeah, like see, I want to say I'm not surprised because like I really wasn't, because I think a lot of people were underestimating Cabo Verde, because even like I did go through like a lot of previews and all that. They have been doing well, or whenever they've qualified for the AFCONs as well, they have also done moderately well. They're not like a scrub side, so to speak. Like they are a pretty, there is this saying which they have in Cape Verde where it's in Creole, but I forgot what it means. It basically means fearless. They play without fear, and that's what they did. They showcased, right? Like I think, and also it was not as if he was like, even Wozinha was great. He was brilliant during the game, but the discipline of that back line, like the whole team, they kept the line so like they were disciplined to the core. The only thing which was little bit missing was I felt they had a little bit of an inability to make the ball stick, so to speak. Like if they were trying to, they were to relieve the pressure or to have like a little bit of a pressure release. They didn't have like a hold up player who would, sprint out down the other end to provide a little bit of a threat. And I think, see, I have to give like a little bit of credit to the Spain over there. The counter press was a little bit on point over there, but also like I felt Spain, there are two Spains, okay? One Spain is with the wingers, with Nico Williams as well as Yamal, which is very dynamic. I think one thing which I mentioned also during the preview was how Spain are more dynamic through the wingers, and that's why I feel they'll do well compared to previous World Cups, because that the whole the having the multiple midfielders and all that crap, to be honest, doesn't uh, it doesn't fly. And part of the reason we did well in the previous Euros was because of having Williams and Yamal on either wing to provide that extra trust and that that unpredictability. Like they were just launching boxes. I mean crosses in, but they didn't have anyone. And even Oyazabal, the first 30 minutes, he didn't have a single touch of the ball. So there was that stat as well. But yeah, like a very good performance from Cabo Verde, and hopefully they are able to score their first goal as well in the game against Uruguay, and I hope they do. Like it'll be an insane moment when they do that, because even Curacao, when they scored their goal as well, it was a peak moment. Like it was like too good, unreal. So yeah, I'm hoping they score their first goal against Uruguay, and out of the one stat after the first stage of games, 40 out of the 48 teams had scored at least one goal. The only teams who have not scored up until now are, I mean, in the second round of games is Turkey A, who have had 62 shots on target and have not scored a single goal, and Haiti, for obvious reasons, who have not been able to score. But yeah, hopefully Haiti is able to buck that by scoring against Morocco. Turkey, I don't know like how they're going to do against the United States, but okay. Uh, my favorite game of the week. I am. tempted between two games. I think one is the Portugal Dr. Congo game, like that, and another is I think the game which I actually like legit watched. It was the England Croatia game, like a really like good performance by England. Even though the hater in me wants to hate on them, I do feel like the defense is a little bit shaky. But I think I'm going with England Croatia because it was a pretty high scoring game, and also the quality of goals which was scored over the top class from both teams. And I think Croatia were really good in that first half. It's just that in the second half, the quality of England's depth also showed. And the moment Bellingham scored the third goal, like right after halftime, like just when they started the second half, I think that kind of killed off the contest as a whole. So and like Livakovic, he was on fire, the Croatian goalkeeper. So yeah, there's that. Like it was a really good game, and Kane was on the thing. So yeah, they look to be in good flow, England.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing that pisses me off is the whole rule about the goalkeeper stepping off of their line. Because if that ball went in, would you call it off? Would you ask them to retake it? No. So, like, I get why you don't want the goalkeeper to step out of the line, but I feel like it's a very, I don't know. There has to be a better implementation, and also if you're doing this, put a stop to these useless penalty run-ups that these players do, like the stutter. Because okay, personally, I feel like sometimes that is what puts the goalkeeper off, because they think that the player is going to take a shot at that point, and then they move right instinctively, which is what causes them to come out of their line, and then it's not a shot. So if you're like putting a cap on this, put a cap on this as well.
And that call also, that particular call which we're referencing here, that is a very tight call. It really was not really like, see, the rule is one of the legs should be touching the line. His right foot was very. It was like I don't think like the whole reason why it was retaken was because they missed the penalty. Like honestly, it was like that. I think that it's a little bit of a slippery slope also, right? Like if you're allowing the stutter step also, like you can allow these marginal things where the keeper is trying to get that little bit of a marginal edge, let's so to speak. So yeah, I mean I'm with you on that. I feel uh, the penalty also by itself, if you look at the XG also, the XG allotted for a penalty is 0.75. So that itself shows how guaranteed of a goal or a shot it is. So you have to level the playing field in favor of the keeper also in that case. Yeah, so that's with regard to the thing. Now, before we go on to our favorite on the field and off the field moments, a brief snapshot about the leaderboard between us with regard to the draft. So, this has been updated up until today morning, like basically yesterday night's games. And currently, Sai is leading by 70 points. You're right now on 625 points. I'm on 555 points. Okay, and and of course the 10 points which you had gained from the quiz as well. So you're leading by a total of 80 points. So right now 635 to 555. Still a long way to go, but the fact that we've added stakes with each group game as well has made this a little more exciting. Very back and forth the way it's been going, but yeah, it's been interesting actually, this whole thing. And yeah, like we'll also put a snapshot of it in the video once it comes out, so that everyone is aware of what's going on. Your picks of Mexico, they've been you've been 60 on 60 with them. They've won both their games, and the same with me with the United States as well. They've been doing also very well. So yeah, long way to go, but yeah, it's been a tussle, so to speak.
Nice to know that I'm leading the scoreboard here. Because I genuinely thought, because I was just going based on vibes for like most of the teams, so it's good to know vibes work sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Long way to go, but yeah, like I think no, the interesting aspect also is we've awarded points for a loss as well. So that is also like uh, the I think the point system has been very good, so to speak. So like it's 30 basically to give context, it's 30 points for a win, 15 points for a draw, and 10 points for a loss. So that has also sparked this, so that no particular person is also running away with it. So there is that, that push and pull also as well. Like, yeah. So now on to the meat of the episode. So, Sai, tell me what has been the best on the pitch moment for you.
But one of my favorite on-field moments, because this is something that I very recently was watching, and I was actually watching this live because it was early in the morning. I think it was the Switzerland Bosnia game. Was that early in the
Okay.
morning or was that at night?
It is late night.
It was late
It
night.
was,
Sorry, yes, it
yeah.
was late night. That was the game. I think that quickly turned around in like the last 15 minutes of the game, right?
Yes,
I
correct. Yeah.
think from the 75th minute onwards, Switzerland started scoring a lot of goals, and then Bosnia got back after they were like 3-0 down. I think they got back with a very good goal, and then Switzerland again scored. That was
Yeah.
quite nice because the last 15 minutes was very exhilarating. And I
Okay.
remember it was actually midnight. It was around 2:30 here. I
Hmm.
remember watching it, and I was like, "Oh damn, this is really good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Switzerland. Yeah, to speak about Switzerland as well, I do feel like they've underperformed a little bit, like compared to what they've been. I don't think they should have struggled as much as they have against Qatar as well as Bosnia as well. Like I think they can and should be doing a little bit better. Also, there's been a lot of talk off the field with regard to Shaka creating a bit of a toxic atmosphere and all that. And he really didn't do himself any favor by denying Manzambi the chance of a hat trick by taking the penalty. I mean, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that before I tell. What are your thoughts on
So I saw a touchline article. I think not an article. It was like a small feature which they were going on and on about how uh, uh, Chaka's mentality and how he's such a beast that even though his team was already leading by 3 goals, he didn't want to let the goal difference drop, and he didn't like he wasn't very bothered by the fact that one of his teammates is on a hat trick and all that. He just wanted to kill the game with his penalty, and he was so sure. And I'm like, we're going a little too far here, because yeah, it's a tournament and you need to get in all your goals, and it's such a long journey and all that. But like there are a lot of individual moments. The captain. So sometimes if you also if your like teammate has already scored 2 goals, I don't think there's anything stopping him from scoring his third. And if he's going to get a World Cup hat trick, then so be it. You guys are already comfortably winning, right? And you also know the state of your group because of the previous game. So
that? No, I think the Canada game was right after that.
after that, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Still, right? I that was a very icky moment for me.
yeah. Like I think you're also like you play football at a competitive level, right? Like and I presume you were like when with Mercurial as well. You were one of the designated penalty takers, so to speak. If one of your young teammates was on the verge of a hat trick, I don't think you would have denied them the chance, even though it was maybe even though it's like maybe 2-2, okay, and that penalty kick is you're about to win it 3-2. I think you would have trusted that teammate to take it, I guess, right?
Yeah, okay, I don't know about a 2-all scoreline, but I still would have considered at least giving it to the teammate, because the impact that can have by get for you getting a hat trick, you've contributed to your team like so well. And in this context, in a World Cup game, I mean, there's nothing better than that, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
and denied Manzambi a piece of history. Like he would have been the youngest ever hat trick scorer at a World Cup, uh, beating the likes of Mbappe, who was a bit of a beast also when he uh, burst onto the scene at the 2018 World Cup as well. So even I'm like you on board with that. I didn't like the way and the whole celebration also after that with Xhaka said like that he was trying to close his ears and whatever, trying to put out the noise and deny the claims of the toxicity or whatever to speak. And I don't really think he did much to dispel that. I don't know, like maybe I'm wrong. Nami have not played at the highest level, but I felt it was a very so to speak, it was a dick move, man. Like honestly, Shaka, you're one of the leaders in the team. You don't need to big dog as much as he did there, honestly speaking. So yeah, like I mean, that was a pretty interesting game. For me, my favorite on the pitch moment was I'm also kind of cheating a little bit here also. Just allow me that, but it was Yan Diomande. The way he roasted that Ecuador uh, the fullbacks, and especially it also the little bit the Chelsea-ness in me also love the fact that Hincapié was getting roasted by him, and I little part of me was even more happier as a result of that. But also like the off the field part of it was definitely that the Players Tribune article which he penned for his sister, like who unfortunately died very young when she was 15, and it brought a lot of emotions while I was reading that as well. Like the fact that nowadays he doesn't. We'll definitely put the link of that also in our uh, video. But the fact that nowadays he doesn't feel anything, and the whole point of him playing football is to prove his sister right. Like his sister believed that he would be the best footballer in the world, and he narrated like how from a young age he had like a knockoff United jersey and he wanted to emulate Ronaldo and all that. It was a very heartbreaking article, and uh, also like he's being linked to Liverpool, so to speak, right now for a eye-watering 100 million as well. But I really, really, I mean, he's going to play later tonight against Germany, and even though I am going to support Germany, I wouldn't be too crushed if Ivory Coast ends up winning due to him, so to speak.
Yeah, that was a very touching article that came out, and the timing of it coming out as well. I think it was quite. I think everyone who's read it was emotional at one point.
Yeah, like
But yeah,
uh, the,
it just shows you that there's so much more that these players play for and
yeah,
carry, more than just like wanting to play for your nation. There's so much more that goes on behind the scenes.
yeah, and like the that's also like kind of the beauty of football as well, right? Like these, and like especially the World Cup as well. You see these stories which come out like throughout the course of it, and it was like very you know a very mature article as well. He's still 19, by the way, this kid, and the fact that he's endured so much, and there was a lot of emotion, but a lot of controlled emotion as well while he was writing it, and the circumstances in which his sister passed away was also not really the most. It was not the best circumstances as well. So to carry that with you and to put that onto the pitch, like beautiful, man. Like I'm like astounded by it. Yeah. So okay, let's go on to like even I'm tearing up as I remember that. But now on to your favorite off the field moment. Sorry.
Okay, so if anyone who knows me knows that I'm a very big fan person. Like I love fan moments. Uh, so my personal favorite narrative and story throughout this World Cup has been the Scotland fans, and them just this is just a holiday for them. They're just watching their team play in the World Cup. They're in another country. They're in a city where they can just pop up at any game and then make just own the space. They're just drinking around and they're just partying around. Even the kids are getting involved. I think they bring such a vibe, and this is the exact kind of vibe and festive atmosphere that a World Cup deserves. And I think the Scotland fans are bringing it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mean that whole that video of them going just rocking up at Fenway Park in a game which they had no business being at a baseball game, by the way. They just rocked up at Fenway Park in Boston, and they just owned the space over there. They were singing the famous Scottish song. I forget the name of that, but it'll we'll get to know in post. You'll put it, I guess, in post editing. You'll put it, but yeah, like it was a really like it, I think that is also the aspect of it, right? Which forms a part of the World Cup, right? All this and the story of how like a couple of pubs in Boston ran out, uh, drinks to service these Scottish fans. It was beautiful. Like and the fact that they won the game against Haiti. There was also uh, in addition to this as well, one Scottish fan. He had fulfilled a lifelong dream of being able to witness Scotland at a World Cup game, and he went to the game against Haiti, the first game. A few days later, he unfortunately passed away due to natural circumstances. And at yesterday's game against Morocco, there was a tribute by the Scottish fans for that particular fan, and that was also a very nice moment, so to speak. So, like they brought the World Cup, they brought the vibes to the World Cup, but alongside that, it's a little bit. I mean, not to bring it down, bring the mood down as well. I wonder if the countries who've been denied, the visas, so to speak, if they would have also brought that flavor, it would have been like insane, And we all know what those countries are, and that would have definitely added to the World Cup as well.
Exactly. Because African countries, fans from African countries are known to bring the song and dance wherever they go. We've seen it at the Women's World Cup, the players themselves, and the Men's World Cup, obviously. The players themselves bring that vibe to a match day in a stadium. Imagine tens and thousands of fans doing that when your team is playing, right? So yeah, I feel like that is one huge missed opportunity, or like a missed element in this World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it has been uh it like I mean, it's one of the few things which has been missing in what has been a really good World Cup, at least with regards to action on the pitch. Now, I mean, one of the off the pitch moments which I really wanted to speak about was Scotland, and I'm glad you spoke about it. Uh, the second one, I'm deliberating uh, between this, but I'll go with this. It's not like my favorite moment, but it was a great off the pitch moment. It is the whole thing which went on with Tunisia, like how uh, after losing 5-1 to Sweden, uh, the whole soap opera which happened right after that. Okay, so basically, Sabri Lamouchi was the coach of Tunisia. At least he was the coach during the first game against Sweden, where they got pumped 5-1 by Sweden, and it prompted a lot of question marks. And that was his fifth game, by the way, in charge of Tunisia in his tenure. And the Tunisian FA, there was this for like 24 hours or more, like 24 to 30 hours, there was this whole thing wherein Sabri Lamouchi took a training session, but behind the scenes there was stuff like the Tunisian FA was deciding his future and they wanted to sack him. And within the Tunisian FA, there was a lot of politics because there were a few factions who didn't want to sack him and who wanted to keep him and all that stuff. And yeah, it ultimately culminated with him getting sacked. And then we got one of the in recent recent World Cups, one of the mainstays of World Cups, Herb Renard being in charge of a random I don't want to say random country in the derogatory sense, but you get what I mean. Like he just crops up like that the guy who keeps like a very a guy who looks after himself very well, let's so to speak, and who dresses to the occasion. And Herb Renard is right now in charge of Tunisia, and they'll be playing today against who will they be playing? Japan. So let's see
Yeah,
whether
playing
that.
tomorrow. Tomorrow morning they're playing Japan. No, and it's
Yeah,
at 9:30 also. We can just watch that game. What damn.
yeah, and yeah, like interesting. Like it reminds me of those sackings which happened in the Premier League season, right, where they just sack the manager and the thing. But I think it's very rare also that a person gets sacked after one game in the World Cup. Like it happened like twice before, so to speak. Like I did look at the stats, but yeah, a very interesting moment, so to speak. And I don't want to a few honorable mentions in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch moments. On the pitch, definitely the day which featured Mbappe, Messi, and Haaland all scoring at the same time. Like that whole stretch, it first started off with Mbappe just being like, especially in the second half of the Senegal game, just taking over, and that second goal, man, what a beautiful goal! Like just levels to this. And then Haaland making his much wanted debut in the World Cup and just coming away with two goals. And then it had to end with uh, Messi having the last word, or final word, so to speak. He just scored a hat trick, his first ever career World Cup hat trick. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, he should have been sent off. It was a bit of a dangerous tackle, but yeah, man, that it just goes to show like quality will remain quality, and you compare that to a certain rival of his who was, man, okay. And yeah, like, and then another off the field moment has been definitely with the whole thing, like we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, right, about Portugal and how uh, John Evans just said a very right statement, right? By the way, like, I mean, Ronaldo is like anyone in the thing, and he was more speaking about it from a collective, and the fanboys of Ronaldo having their meltdown has been lunatic to say that. Like those fanboys are just they're like that. There's a meme, right, about the Japanese World War II soldier who was like fighting this war, even though like it's been over. Like the World War II got over like some 25 years back. He was on some isolated island, so it's essentially that meme. Okay.
That's actually the truest uh, uh, correlation that has been made
Yeah,
via that example. Wow.
yeah, like like they've lost, like whatever it is, no matter what anything happens, they've lost. It's not going to change anything. So yeah, like okay, now let's look forward to the week ahead. And do you are you looking forward to one particular game with regard to the next week?
Yes, the game that I'm looking forward to the most is Scotland and Brazil. I think that
Oh,
fixture
okay,
speaks for itself
okay.
because of obviously Brazil has so far disappointed whoever had expectations from them so far, and Scotland is just bringing the vibes like we discussed. So I really want to see how that clash is going to look on the field as well as off the field.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. Like I mean, um, okay, like just to bring something to think, the whole they've kind of fucked up the format of the World Cup. So now the way they're determining tiebreakers right now is based on your head-to-head. So rather than goal difference. So what that has led to is, okay, now to take the example of Group D with the USMNT's to group, so to speak. They've essentially sealed top spot. Like they will qualify for the next round as the group winners, and it could lead to the situation where Paraguay and Australia could play out a draw between themselves and then just go through. Like and Turkey has nothing to play for. Like even if they because they've lost the head to head to Paraguay as well as Australia, so there's nothing preventing them also from having a chance at qualifying third. So that's been a little bit of a drawback, I would say, with regard to this format. I mean, I understand why they had to do it because they were trying to address the quality gap, so to speak. But yeah, like it has been a little bit of a downer. Like it could lead to a lot more dead rubbers in the final round of matches. In
Yeah,
terms
no,
of
no,
the
that is true. That
yeah,
is true.
in terms of the match I'm looking forward to next week, it's definitely the France Norway game. So that is scheduled.
Mbappe versus Holland.
Yeah, and that's the final group fixture as well. So, like, I just want to be sure when is that. Yeah, that's exactly like before we record as well. So that is on Friday midnight, basically Saturday 12:30 a.m. over here, and that probably could determine top spot if Norway end up beating Senegal, so to speak. And yeah, it would be a really good match, and the whole Haaland versus Mbappe, it'll be very nice to see that you know on the pitch as well.
Yeah, true. And also speaking of off the field moments, this isn't an off the field moment, but something that's recently been going viral is Haaland's Snapchat stories and him replying to fans' comments. Uh, yeah, he's an
Yeah,
icon. He's an
yeah,
icon.
he's an icon. Yeah. So yeah, like I think we've covered what it is we're looking forward to the week. Now we end with the much wanted quiz where Sai will attempt to get her revenge for last week. So yeah, like bring it on.
Okay. Okay. So this week's topic is debutant nations, right?
Yeah,
Uh, okay. So I'll start off with the question.
yeah. So I'll tell you what is my difficulty level, and you'll ask accordingly, right?
You said go as hard as you can, so I've made everything hard.
Made everything harder. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Okay, options are there, right?
Options are there.
Okay, cool. Okay. Let me
Okay.
go for it.
You start?
Yeah, because that
Okay. Question one. Which debutant nation remains the only World Cup debutant to reach the quarterfinals in its first and only World Cup appearance? I'll leave the question
okay.
as is. If you need options, let me know.
First and only appearance, right? Quarterfinals. Okay, I'll take the options.
Okay. So your options are Haiti in
Okay.
1974, Cuba in 1938, Jamaica in 1998, and China in 2002.
I think cancel out China. They didn't reach the quarters in 2002. Jamaica when? By the way?
98.
No. Jamaica, I don't think they did in 98. The other two options were Cuba and uh, Haiti, right? Okay. So it would be redundant because Haiti have reached this final, so it has to be Cuba.
You're right. It's Cuba
Yeah.
in
Okay.
1938.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 2. Which nation became the first Asian team ever to appear at a FIFA World Cup?
Asian team ever. Okay, the first ever Asian team to enter the FIFA World Cup. Okay. Hmm. Okay, it's this one. Uh, East Indies or Indonesia. That's the answer, right?
Yes, it's the Dutch East Indies or Indonesia. They played in the
Indian.
1938 World Cup, becoming Asia's first World Cup participant. Good job.
Yes. So
Extra points because
I
you
get.
didn't need the option.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Question 3. A debutant nation reached the semi-finals at its first World Cup in 1998. Which nation was it?
Croatia.
Did you finish the question? Nice. Good job.
Yeah.
It is Croatia. They finished third after reaching semi-finals.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 4. Which debutant nation shocked the reigning champions France? Not
To
reigning champions
Senegal.
right now, but okay. Wow. And you know the I feel like next one I just have to read the first word and you'll give me the answer. But nice, good job. But just for the benefit of the listeners, the question
Yeah.
was which debutant nation shocked the reigning champions France in the opening match of the 2002 World Cup, and the answer is Senegal. They beat them 1-0 in Seoul and reached the quarterfinals as well. And this was their
Yeah. It
World Cup
was.
debut.
Yeah, it was scored by Pape Baba Diop, if I'm not wrong. I may be wrong with regard to the scorer, but he unfortunately passed away uh, a few months back as well. Like so, yeah, it was a like, sad ending, but yeah, he'll always be remembered as the architect of Senegal's first win, and you could say led them to what they are right now as well.
Yeah. Okay. Question 5 and the last one. Which
Okay,
debutant nation scored the first ever goal by an African debutant at a FIFA World Cup?
it's Egypt, right?
Yes. The answer is Egypt. They were Africa's first World Cup participant and scored through Abdul Rahman Fauzi against Hungary in 1934.
Yes.
Nice. 5-1-5.
Yeah.
Well done.
So I got 70 points for this.
Nice.
I kind of made up the gap also.
Yeah. Ugh, I should have thought about it. But it's okay. Good job. That was actually very impressive.
Yeah, so last thing on the leaderboard, you're right now leading by 10 points.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take the lead. I'll take the lead.
Yeah. So, yeah, next week's theme is host nations and home advantage. Okay. So, let me do one thing, I'll make it easy. Like, I actually want you to, like, I want it to be a little close. So, I'll make all the questions easy. So, yeah. Okay. And I think you you should try for the bonus points as much as possible. So yeah, to cut that gap. Let's yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of this, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and do watch our first video in the series where we drafted all 48 teams, and also we're running another parallel series where we are having weekly reviews with Philip O'Connor, friend of the podcast, Philip O'Connor, when he has time, and we will also be releasing it maybe by tomorrow, I guess, so to speak. So yeah, that's also one more treat for you guys to look forward to. And yeah, he gives a since he's there on the ground in Vancouver, he's giving a little more of a ground reality of what is actually going on, and it's actually pretty interesting. Like, so please do tune into that episode as well. So that like it should have been out also by the time we release this. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching this, and yeah, bye bye, ciao.